Welcome to Faith in 5, a weekly video devotional designed to discuss practical spiritual concepts in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Mark Vandella. Stop with me for a second and think about your everyday life, like your normal, a day in the life. I do a lot of coaching with people, and when I ask them, like, what does your daily life look like? Most of the time, people can't tell me. And I have to work really hard to draw it out of them. Like, so how do you start your day? Well, I usually get up about this time. Okay. And then what do? Well, I shower. And are you a person who puts your clothes out the night before or picks them in the morning? Oh, I usually pick them in the morning. Okay. And then what? And as I draw this out, it's not very intentional. Most of us are not living terribly intentional in our day-to-day lives. A day in the life usually looks like a crazy, hairy rat race of wake up, shower, get ready, grab coffee, maybe breakfast, rush the kids to daycare, go to work all day, work during lunch, come home, on the way home, pick up the kids, get them fed, get them to bed, and then you work some more, maybe, right? And most of us aren't getting enough sleep. Maybe there's a sporting event that we've got to attend. It's just, it feels crazy, and it feels like life is always happening to us. And we're in the second week of our series based on John Acuff's book called Finish, where he has this concept where he says, you know what? The key to achieving more, the key to achieving your goals is actually having permission to fail. He says you have to pick something to fail at potentially in order to achieve the goal that you really want. And while those two things sound counterintuitive and contradictory, it's actually the key to a life that's a little bit more intentionally lived. And I think it's biblical. See, I stumbled upon some verses. I was reading through Jeremiah and trying to really understand what God was doing in the life of his people at that time. And in Jeremiah 8, 4-7, it says this. It says, once again, give them this message from the Lord. God is trying to speak to his people and say, I have something to say. You don't have to live in chaos. I have something to say. It says, when a person falls, he or she jumps up again. When he is on the wrong road and discovers his mistake, he has the opportunity to go back to the fork in the road and find out where they made a wrong turn. Right? God is saying it's okay to take a step forward and not be perfect because you have the opportunity to figure out what's working and what's not. But then it gets pretty direct. It goes on to say, these people, us, you and me, we keep on along our evil path, this path of chaos and unplanned, and that's not the design for our lives. Even though I warn them, I listen to their conversation, and what do I hear? Is anyone sorry for their sin? Does anyone say, what a terrible thing I've done? No, we're all rushing around, heading down the path of sin as swiftly as a horse rushing into battle. If you're anything like me, that's what the daily grind looks like. Even the daily grind, right? That doesn't sound fun. So we get up, we do the same thing, and we just race all the time. This verse also goes on to say, the stork knows the time of her migration, as does the turtle dove, the crane, and the swallow. There are cycles to our lives. There are seasons to our lives. They all return at God's appointed time each year. But not my people. How is it that the natural seasons of the world get this? That there's times for busy, there's times for reflection, there's times for being good at this, and times for not being good at this. It says, the final verse, verse 7 says, they don't accept the laws of God. We all only have 24 hours in a day. And the fact is, we have to choose some things that we're not going to be good at. In fact, I read an article recently that affirms this. It's called The Entrepreneurial Dilemma. And that typically entrepreneurs are trying to do the books, the sales, the marketing, the creation of product, also have a family, have friends, stay in shape, get some sleep, and have a relationship with God. And what happens is we end up being not very good at any of those. And I think this verse in the Bible, as well as John Acuff, it's saying something here. That what if we could intentionally choose the things that we really want to be good at? And choose the things that we're going to fail at? this year as you enter into 2018 and you start thinking through what it is you want this year to look like. Don't just set 10 things that you want to accomplish. Shrink that list so that you're good at a couple of things. And also create a list of 2 to 3 things that you just know in the rhythms and the seasons of life that you're not going to be good at for that period of time. God actually says that if we keep chasing the 10 things over and over and over and don't figure that out, we're actually not living the way we were designed to live, and we're failing. Instead, choose to not be good at a couple of things and watch your faith grow and watch God step into that with you. This week in your faith, choose some things you're going to be good at and some things that you're not, and ask God to join you along the way.